Alright, I'll wait till, Okay, hold on. Let's see if it goes now. Okay, we're back with more Final Fantasy VI then.
And we did some leveling up, and by leveling up, I mean I know how to open a hex editor and
Uh,
change the.
I thought maybe we were gonna lie to the audience and claim that it was
No,
all
no,
genuine.
I was going to use that as a segue into talking about how I usually don't like tool assisted playthroughs of anything. And although I guess you can technically say this is a tool assist, I don't see what the value of actually doing all of this manually myself, which I do all the time anyway, or just.
Yeah, I mean, we've done it like 300 times, so there's not really much sense to it.
I mean, I'm sure you'll have some purists who are like, "Oh, well, I think you should. It's not authentic enough if you don't do it." And
Well, I would think if we were going to go through it every with everything on screen, it might make sense. But since it's just like behind the scenes stuff, it doesn't really matter. I don't know what happened. All right, there we go. I have control of a lot of
the
the two center characters, I guess.
yeah.
I think when we get to somewhere we can open the menu, probably
Hmm.
put Bannon in the back row so he doesn't get killed.
All right, if that even happens, but
Oh, that I
that
forgot we
depends
were a
on
lot
you.
stronger.
But it's on you to do the yeah. But actually, that was an interesting thing that I noticed when I was opening up the save is that Bannon is well that and when I think I was looking at the algorithm um, FAQ on GameFAQs and he's actually supposed to be I think 2 levels weaker than everybody.
Oh,
He's not
really?
supposed to be powerful at all, and which is interesting to me. But um, I was just curious as to why they would go out of their way to make him so useless.
Yeah, I guess his only draw is the prayer technique or whatever.
Yeah, since it works every time, unlike in Final Fantasy IV.
Somebody made one of those memes of it out of it, and it said, "Where is your God now?" or something.
Okie doke.
Yeah, I like how they had to take a video game out of context and to promote atheism.
I guess you got to do it somehow. But then what would then they could say nothing about this one because it works every time.
True. Is that actually supposed to be prayer?
Yep.
What was his class? I don't even remember.
I forgot. It's
Because it's not
uh
really something you would see very often.
I don't remember what it was supposed to be. And I'd have to look it up because I don't think I even do. I have a save? I'd have to turn on the TV and I think get my actual game to see what he was and uh, or pause for a second and look it up. But
Oh, that's all right. We could probably just
I don't think it was like priest or anything like that. Which,
yeah,
but
I feel like that might be what they would go to, but I don't think it would be accurate. But then again, they were okay with machinery.
yeah. So I mean, what can you do? It wasn't anything like leader or anything like that. So that much I do remember. If this were a Hideo Kojima game, he would have told us to turn the game off after he said game over.
I got to see if I remember his techniques. I think I just screwed that one up.
Um,
It's
Which one were you trying to?
isn't it just left, right, left?
Yeah.
Oh, I did it. Okay.
And then you should be able to have flame dance. So that one is just from the back, and then you go all the way to the front.
Oh, it's kind of like Street Fighter, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I always wondered what he was talking about when he said that. Having a moment there.
Who?
You
Oh, I can't do anything.
couldn't do anything as Terra.
Apparently, we're seeing two different things on the screen. Because I saw Bannon. That's weird. Maybe some lag.
I guess that's possible.
Because that was happening for me too. On Edgar's turn, it was just stuck there at the item screen for quite a while, and then yeah, now it's there again, and just not moving. So
I guess it,
yeah, I think we're having lag problems, of course. It is Friday the 13th. I was just pointing that out before.
what a horrible night to be laggy.
Yeah, I'm not. Is anything going on your side?
No, it's still right now. It's saying it's still your turn.
Oh wow. Yeah, I have no way to do anything. That stinks.
Well, I find it funny that you're actually using all the healing, which we actually needed.
I think I did. Yeah, I just did the. What's that called? Phoenix, really?
Oh,
I just remember it being Fire Dance.
yeah, it was. I think it was Phoenix Dance or something. He must still be lagging. You can just press A at this point.
Oh, I'm past it. We're in like another encounter. And I just did incorrect blitz input because it's so far behind.
Need to give it some time to catch up, I guess.
Wow. It feels better now, I think.
It's still whatchamacallit for me.
It almost froze up completely right there. I failed.
Yeah, I'm still stuck at the whatchamacallit.
Did you just use a potion?
I wasn't trying to. I'm still stuck at the Ultros battle.
Wait, you're there?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's not at all where I am. I'm actually just still in like a random encounter.
Well, I know in the live stream that's what's going on, but in the game, yeah, we had beat him already.
Wow. I wasn't even present for it. That sucks. I wonder what's like. I wonder why it's so bad all of a sudden.
Well, if I can get it to a save point, then I'll probably try to do it again, because I don't. There shouldn't be a reason it's messing up like that.
Yeah, it's way behind.
Okay, well, now we're at the scenario, so I'm gonna save real quick,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna try to close out. Or I'll just disconnect and then...
Okay. I guess you disconnected right now, right?
Yep.
Alright. Just gotta...
Okay. Try it now.
Alright. I actually had to reopen the emulator all over again because it's every time it disconnects, it tends to freeze up.
Yeah, it told me to just restart it after I disconnected, so I guess there was no point in doing that.
Okay, I should be all good. All right, well now at least I'm seeing the right scenario here.
All right, I it doesn't matter to me which one to choose. I'm good with all of them, so
Which one do you usually do first?
I usually do Saban's first.
All right, we'll go with that.
It's just because he's the furthest away.
Isn't his really the longest?
Yeah, in my opinion, it is.
I think the stream is way behind too.
Yeah, it usually is, but well, now I'm way behind on the stream, so I don't even know where it's supposed to be at. Okay, it's caught up at the when I just looked at it now, it was caught up.
Maybe it's my internet or something. I'll just restart it.
Well, you're still at least at the right point in the game, right?
Yeah, you just came out of the old man's house.
Yeah. Okay.
I like the that shurikens are so cheap in this game.
Who needs all this other stuff?
Yeah, I never buy any of that. I always just buy like the 99.
It was actually called kunai in the Japanese version. The only reason that stands out to me is I remember in an IF update years ago, um, I drew a comic and I actually called it that in the game, or not in the game, in the comic.
Right. I like that they let the dog take damage sometimes and then actually come out and do attacks.
There was something I actually read about, like when you hire him, I think in this scenario and then in the other one, for some reason, okay, yeah, when you hire him, I guess he has like a 1 in 16 chance of just leaving in the battle.
Yeah, doesn't that? I think that happens in this scenario too, but usually when that happens to me, it very rarely happens, but I just end up running away. Oh, I'm in control now?
Yeah,
Oh, that's weird. Okay.
well, that's because he's the second one.
Okay, well, I know which way to go, so I will start to head the right way.
Oh, we're both moving.
Oh, that's weird.
I think that did happen to me a couple of times in the game, but it's been so long since I've done it like that, I don't remember.
Usually I'll try to when he actually is supposed to officially leave, I'll try to unequip his items and just steal the ninja gear.
He leaves right before you get on the waterfall, right?
Yeah. At least if you end up keeping him the whole time.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's uncommon for me to ever lose him. I think I think I did like maybe 2 or 3 times in all the times I played this. I've always wondered how this actually works. Like, is the poison just like if you inhale it, it makes you die, or because to me, if you're just poisoning water, to me that just means it's not safe to drink.
Oh, are you up to that point?
Yeah, I am. Well, no,
Wow.
no, no, no.
Oh,
I'm still
okay.
at the part where they're trying to make battle preparations. I'm just thinking ahead.
Oh, because I'm still in a random encounter way back.
Well, I'm glad to know why then you were moving around all crazy.
Yeah, this is just really not working. Oh, man. Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's anything I can do to catch up or to get it to catch up. Well, this that I'm doing is whatchamacallit, it's one player anyway, so
Oh, okay. I don't know why it's randomly making us use items when we don't even need to.
I think that's just crazy business going on.
Yeah, because from what I'm seeing, it's using up all our high potions.
I feel like it's making you play a different game altogether. Because I still have four, so I don't know what it's telling you it's doing.
Well, the weird thing is it's making Sabin use items.
You know what? I think I have an idea. We might need to pause the stream for a bit.
Okay. Um, should I stop it on the OBS and stuff?
Yeah, I thought you could just pause it for a second.
I I see stop streaming, and that's it.
Uh, well then I guess we'll just have to have some a dead period. Just mute the audio or the yeah, just mute the audio for a minute.
Let's see. And I just gotta click that speaker button, I guess. I wonder if that's gonna cause me to fall behind now. That I had to pause it to get to the battle, or to get to the broadcaster, or press escape rather. Are you in the menu screen right now? Oh, okay. All right. Let's see. Get back to this. It says good, and it says we're back to live, so I think everything's okay now. Are you about to enter the base? All right, then we're caught up, I think. It's just sitting there, yeah. Well, I guess if you hit it, right, it alerts the dog. Hmm. Yeah, I saw that. Music seems to be glitching up every once in a while too. I wonder if it just didn't take well to the editing or something. That doesn't seem right though. Yeah, he didn't do anything. No reaction. Well, there is that ROM hack that makes him playable, but I haven't played it yet. It's from the same dude that did the Final Fantasy IV one that I played. Well, he also did something called Fantasy Star Modernization or something. I don't know what they changed though because I don't really have much experience with Fantasy Star. The thing that kind of deters me is the dungeons seem to be in like that first person view. Yeah, the old good old Nintendo first person view that makes you want to like ram your head through a wall. Is it as awful as it looks? Uh huh. Oh yeah. Yeah. I didn't even get to do anything because I forgot that it's just a one hit kill battle. At least they kept the. Oh, they didn't. That's right. So technically, it's really the same kind of joke. Right. Yeah, I know it's just a few lines here and there, but it's not. It's not like it's even a better change. I don't know what happened there. I had no control over the blitz input thing. I'll just attack, I guess. Oh, really? The same thing happens when I'm seeing yours, actually. Obviously, not a waiter. Yeah, I don't. I think this place is pretty low on treasure. I don't know. The dialogue. I guess it's. I don't know if it's just me, but most of the dialogue changes that I do notice just sound awkward. That's quality hacking. I guess they all had something to drink from the stream. I don't know. Yeah, it does. Unless it's one of those weird. I don't know how to explain, but it's not. Things aren't exactly happening at the same time. Oh yeah, I'm not sure if I would have caught it. Oh okay. Oh okay. Yeah, I forgot what I thought that was. I did end up looking it up though after you mentioned it. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me too. Well, I mean, to be fair, they do use that. They do seem to use that sprite in those moments. Oh, was it cayenne, like the pepper? Wow, that's weird looking. Oh, wasn't it Owain? Huh. Was her name still Elaine? Oh, okay. Yeah, the little pinging noise when they hit each other is always funny. Yeah, you just get punched in the face pretty much. Yeah, I guess things are getting switched around left and right here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Is sword tech? What is it? Sword technique? Is that what they've got on there? And then blitz is what would blitz be? Oh, okay. Gotcha. I wonder where they got blitz from. Oh, I guess that's true. Yeah, I remember that. Man. That was a little bit of a glitch too. Uh, yeah. I guess I got control of the two. Oh, we have two mithril claws, or we should. Just increases your hit points, right? Yeah. Whenever I, whenever I'm not like overpowered and I equip one of those type of things, it's always hard for me later on to unequip it because I get used to the HP being high. Okay, so I'm in the battle, but I'm hearing the Phantom Forest theme in battle. Isn't that wrong? It's kind of interesting, but oh, the hack maybe changed it. Yeah, that was pretty cool. It always looks like there's a ghost face in the lake or something. I guess it works. It's just that my ears are so used to it changing that I feel like it's wrong when I see it. Pause. He's using a Super Nintendo controller. Oh yeah. Yeah, I guess I'm not a big fan of that one. This is, I guess it's all right just because it's not too long. But I guess the Esper Cave thing and the Phoenix Cave are probably low on my list. It is sort of random. Oh yeah, we don't have anything. Maybe the music might start once we actually come to the realization of what we're doing. I think I got this hack patch off of fantasyanime.com or something. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm calling it a hack when it's really more of a retranslation from what I remember. Is that always what it is? I'm actually going to the website right now on the other computer to see what it is that I downloaded. Yeah, I think it's just called Final Fantasy VI Retranslation. Yeah, well, the description to it is really misleading. It says, from what I've been told, the Game Boy Advance version is the most accurate translation to date for Final Fantasy VI. However, if you want to experience a true, uncut, properly translated version of the game on the SNES, here's the fan-based retranslation. Just note that this is a literal translation, so it may not read as smoothly as the official US release. This is all thanks to the efforts of RPG One Translations. Yeah, I don't know where this guy gets his info from. Well, probably from RPG One Translations, who is misrepresenting their product. Oh, really? I'm actually not sure. I think it says, let's see, they did, according to romhacking.net, they did the Dragon Quest 1 and 2, Dragon Quest 3, Final Fantasy 2, Final Fantasy 6. Final Fantasy 2 is for Wonder Swan, apparently. Mother 1 and 2 for Game Boy Advance, and then other games that I'm not really familiar with. Do Re Mi Fantasy, and some things that I probably butcher the pronunciation of. So But yeah, Burning Heroes isn't on there. So I don't know if that just means they didn't update it or it's a different group or what. What ones did you have in mind? Oh, yeah, I kind of wanted that to. It seems interesting. That's really weird. Oh, really? Wow. Oh, man. Oh, jeez. That is so annoying. Wouldn't that song be considered problematic? They just decided to get crazy. Well, there's always the Macarena. That's embarrassing. What does that even have to do with physical education? That's rough. Oh, wow, it's really lagging now. There we go. Hmm. Evidence was invented by the white man so that they're always right or something. Wow, that's just terrible. I hope that was a joke, but I'm really not sure. Yeah, I see it everywhere. Well, there was that comment earlier that basically said the same thing again. It was almost word for word what that one commenter said to me on the YouTube page, but this one was from the Siliconera or whatever. It said you can enjoy your problematic media just as long as you realize it is. What does that accomplish? Meanwhile, they're caught stealing dogs off of people's porches and euthanizing them. I guess that would be the argument. Well, well, they made that like that game making not making fun of, but like it was a Pokemon parody, and then they made the one that's the Mario Brothers because of they use furs. Because they kill real animals in Mario Brothers. Yeah, really. What I've always wondered what the point of this guy really is. I think in the Game Boy Advance version they made him an actual battle that wasn't completely a waste of time. Well, I know they fixed one that a lot of people didn't like, the Vanish in Doom. I don't mind it because I never really used it anyway. Hmm. Oh, okay. And I guess that kind of worked then. Wasn't there an item in one of these train cars, but it was kind of blocked by something? I feel like I remember reading something about a weird situation where there's an item kind of in the seat, but you can't get it because it's impossible to walk into that square. Gotta love that. I want to say it was evade in this game that was kind of broken. Oh, okay. So then any relics that edit your evade is kind of useless to equip. Just changes the number on the screen, but doesn't actually have any gameplay. Oh, I think it was. Isn't it the first and the third? I like how his sword's just bigger when you use the technique. What does that? What does that make the conductor of the Phantom train? Yeah, go for it. I'll defend. Oh wow, it didn't do one hit kill. Was the comic the one where he suplexes the train? Is that the one? I forgot what it's from. Zach Gorman or something. The only thing that he got wrong was that Edgar was present. Take the ride. It's because you have street cred. Taking a first breath. Uh, it's not ringing a bell at the moment, but that sounds really stupid. Wow, I just realized something really stupid that I did. I didn't press the audio button back on the OBS until just now.
I guess that's why I never heard anything.
I guess that makes sense. Every time I do something like that, that's what happens. I always forget to change it back. That's happened to me when I've recorded videos. And then I'll have wasted like 15 minutes.
Well, if anybody's like me, they don't like this part anyway. So, although I could have sworn there are people that really enjoy it. Like in terms of the dialogue and the character development, I do like that. Like the fact that he's just like he can't get over the fact that his his wife and his son are gone.
Yeah, but nothing meaningful or deep ever happens in video games, so.
Right. Well, he's a man, and therefore this is all problematic because his motivation then is going to be to avenge the death of a woman rather than the woman just avenging her own death, which she can do because it's not like she's dead or anything.
No, not at all. She just won't get on the train.
Right. Maybe this is a feminist movement. Maybe she's saying she doesn't need him anymore, and death was the only way that she could break free of a husband that loved her. But love is problematic.
It is, because it makes you do things for people, and then they can't do things for themselves. So it's disempowering.
I always love how Shadow's just like, yeah, I'm out.
He's like, I'm not jumping off of there. You guys are crazy.
And let's cue the Shadow must be black stereotype because he's not going to jump off a waterfall. I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't jump off a waterfall or down a waterfall.
Well, I wouldn't either, but that's because of privilege.
Yeah, well, I thought you were Asian anyway.
According to the internet, I don't know how that happened, but I swear it's from liked videos. That's the only thing I can think of.
But I wonder if they actually even took the time to actually look and see like what videos you actually look at.
Probably. It seems like something they would do.
I don't know, given the fact that people are just so lazy when it comes to researching.
I guess that's true too.
But it is feasible, I suppose.
Well, I mean, I will say they obviously didn't take any time to check out my videos.
Right, well that would have been effort.
Although if she did, she probably would have got even more angry.
Yeah, imagine what would happen if she saw the deconstructing stupidity videos.
Angry comments on every one of them.
Yeah, like those guys who downvoted a lot of your videos.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. But I know there's really not much in a way of like negative commentary. It's every once in a while, but I think usually the people that do like downvoting they don't even take the time to be like, okay, this is why I didn't like this. They're just like, oh, dislike, I'll show you.
Yeah, like that's gonna do something. Like they really showed you who's boss. They downvoted your video.
That's the kind of stuff that keeps me awake at night.
I have heard interesting things people have told me that they say keeps them awake. One thing I heard was work related.
Oh man.
And I couldn't empathize there because I'm like, nothing about work keeps me awake at night.
Except that it stinks.
Yeah, but even then I'll go to sleep.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite tracks in the game, though.
For some reason, the beginning always reminded me of the Star Spangled Banner. Like if it were in a completely different octave. Well, this whole song and area is problematic if you think about it.
Oh, whoops, I can't hit him. He's a child.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that we didn't get that on video.
We don't have any jerky, though, so we have to smack him. Oh well. Here we go. I'll do it.
So now cue the inevitable scratch point as a
child abuser.
Child abuser.
And I laughed about it, so that's a thing too.
Yeah, I'm surprised nobody's actually done anything about that yet. Like, the attacks have all just been about feminism. I haven't heard anybody try to say, oh, he's a child beater or something like that.
Well, I guess there was that one about the heteronormativity or whatever, but
Yeah,
that wasn't much of an attack. It was more of a, you're being problematic.
which I think is funny because the thing I notice with my own children is they choose they choose what they like and what they don't like.
Yeah.
Like I don't say, "Hey, this is girly stuff" to my daughter, and therefore that's what you should like. She just chooses that, and then there's stuff she chooses that sometimes isn't considered girly that she'll like, but
Yeah,
otherwise,
what does that I don't understand why that defines your gender.
like I really just see children kind of choosing it what themselves what they feel comfortable with. Like there are times when my son, as young as he is, really just wants to be one of the guys, so to speak.
Wow, there's just like a ringing sound ever since we
I,
left the shop. Oh, it just stopped now that we left.
I heard it uh, a while ago. I haven't heard it recently, but I did hear it at some point.
It's funny how reality just deconstructs their arguments for them.
Yeah, because oh, that was a thing, and I didn't mention it in my update, but it was something that just annoyed me when I was looking at one of those one of those blogs where they review the old '80s shows,
Yep.
and there was an episode, I guess, about well, this had nothing to do with it. It was like a really tangential thing, like it was a tertiary, just kind of like it just happened and you wouldn't even think about it. But I guess there was some point where, or that really didn't have anything to do with the story. It was more about like it was just a vehicle to get to what they were trying to have happen. But
Uh,
one of one of the characters who's a girl, like dressed up like a biker, and in the comment section, this just devolved into like a, oh, look at how accepting and open-minded and tolerant I am. I remember somebody who I was friends with as a kid, and I didn't even know she was a girl. I thought she was a boy, and I would defend her to my friends and say that she is a boy, and I didn't find out she was a boy until we went swimming and she put on a bathing suit. And all of them, and like people were actually like agreeing with it, like, oh yeah, you were so open-minded. Like I know some people who you can't tell if they're a boy or a girl, and they're just comfortable with who they are. And I'm glad that we're in such a society where we're now so tolerant of people. I'm like, how is this tolerant?
yeah,
You
what does it have
just
to
said
do with anything?
you just said first of all, you just said that you had to defend it, and you're trying to arbitrarily create gender roles. Like these people were literally just doing whatever. They clearly didn't care one way or another what people thought. They just wanted to have friends and they wanted to be kids. And you
Uh,
guys are trying to turn it into like, oh, we're so open and we're like this, but you just assumed that somebody was a certain way, and then you got surprised when you found out that they were something else. Like that one guy, he said he defended that girl and saying, "Oh no, she's a boy" and all this other stuff. But
yep.
so you weren't tolerant. You were making assumptions based on
Yeah,
gender
looks and
roles,
acts. Yeah, looks and
right?
actions.
But they were like, "Oh, I'm glad my parents never enforced gender roles on me."
Oh man, I have a feeling their parents didn't enforce much else either.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, if it irritated me enough to where I decided to just to write about it, they must have been pretty dumb. But that's just what infuriates me, like that whole self-congratulatory, I'm so great because I think I am. Just that arrogant, obnoxious attitude of that superiority complex people have, about things that really don't even matter.
Yeah, they don't matter to anybody that, I don't know, that has
I mean,
better things to do.
they keep whining about gender roles, but then and the whole reason for that is obvious. They want to be able to say, "Hey, I'm tolerant towards transgender people." But my whole issue with that is that if a person is transgender, they're inherently deciding that there is a particular gender role, and
That they
they
want to fit to. Yeah.
right, right, and that's how they feel. That's how they are personally. So to them, they don't see anything. They don't see anything wrong with having gender roles the way they are because they feel they should be in a separate gender from what they've been brought up in.
Yep. That makes
And that
sense
was
to me, but
that was actually in that article I told you about where the guy said he was formerly transgender.
yeah.
That's basically the argument he was trying to make. He was saying we shouldn't have 56 different genders. It's going to make things different, and people who are having psychological problems or need counseling or something like that are not going to, or they're going to be less willing to do it because you have all of these different genders
Can just
that
like
they
put on like a dress.
right, and so they don't know how to cope with whatever issues they're having from like a depression standpoint or something like that. Like it's not. He was arguing that it's not helpful to them to have all of these roles because they're thinking they thought one thing and then they come to find, and then by reading that they see, oh well, then maybe that's not it.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was saying he didn't like the term cisgender because he said that they're just making, like, they're just
I
trying.
I hate those words. I refuse to use them. They just sound so stupid.
And he's like, well, now you're making people feel bad who shouldn't have to feel bad, and then you're having people who are transgender, then they're unsure of what they should be doing because you're telling them there are so many different things, and that's not the way that they're actually feeling. I think he also said the reason that he was transgender for a while is he said his doctor told him he was, and that
That's interesting.
he should get uh he should get the surgery.
Really?
Yeah, so he forced it on him, and he was like, okay, because he said he would have like a conversation, and he would say, I'm having these feelings, and um, something's just feeling off about me. I don't think I fit right with what I am. So
Uh-huh.
then he suggested that to him, or he told him to get the transitions surgery. And so after his operation, he said he at after a while, he said, after the novelty had worn off for him, it it didn't give him everything that he wanted. So he was unsure about himself,
Right.
and so he had to go back to it. And so he was saying for a lot of the other people who are transgender, to them they want to be able to understand exactly where they fit. And when you tell them, well, okay, we're accepting of you, and because you're transgender, but at the same time, oh, there are 56 genders, and therefore, who knows what you could be. He says in the long run, that doesn't help them out at all.
I don't see how it would. Whatever happened to just being a human being?
I don't know what's happened in the last couple of years to just get people really on that boat of, like, it feels really really forced. Like those same people that said that driving is a masculine activity. Those were also the same people that said, I just lost my train of thought, but they said something. Oh yeah, they were the people that said our generation has nothing that they could fight for.
Uh-huh.
They said, oh, back in our parents' time, they had the women's movement and they had hippies, and so they had the war to protest against, and even before that, they had civil rights and all of that, and we don't have anything. And so
So I guess if you don't have anything, you got to make something up.
I guess that's the way that they feel. But then, what did the greatest generation really have to fight about?
Doesn't make sense.
And they had more legitimate issues to deal with. I mean, the these issues that they're talking about here, at the end of the day, people will still be able to eat and sleep
Yep.
with all these issues. But with like people that came around in the 30s and 40s, they had a depression to deal with. Let's not talk about these two because we don't want to promote teenage pregnancy.
I think I saw them on an episode of that MTV show. "16 and pregnant, and then what? 17 and problematic."
Yeah. And then they also have to become the adults with Tara. So you have 16, 17, and 18-year-olds being the heads of this town.
Well, that's actually like a Tumblr dream.
Well, that's a nightmare to me. You know, I was actually thinking about it because I remember last year when they were trying to protest Father's Day.
Oh my god.
And I remember wondering, or saying, like, I wonder if they realized that Father's Day was, at least in the U.S., was created by women.
What I heard about that whole thing was that somebody did that as a joke, and then it caught on and people were serious about it.
Yeah, that's what happened. They've done... Last year was like the year of taking things seriously that they shouldn't have taken seriously.
Bring back Coney.
Oh, that was the most ridiculous thing. And there were so many people that were just making such a big deal about that Coney thing.
I wish I didn't lose it, but I remember that thing that I did mocking that with all the boycotting and stuff. Remove pencils from erasers. 2012.
Oh, that would have been a good one. Like, do you know what erasers are doing to our pencils?
Yeah, it's like erasers are problematic because they take away, they give you the ability to wipe away your mistakes, and mistakes are make up who you are, and you know, all that stupid stuff.
Yet you have all of these people that never want to admit their mistakes. Oh, there's something else I found about status effects. Apparently the darkness effect does not affect your ability to hit.
Really?
Yeah, I'm surprised by that one because I thought it always did, but...
Is that because it's racist?
Yes, they did. Squaresoft in the mid-90s did not want to offend proofs of concept, or POCs, and therefore they did not want to offend those that might be, or might have some kind of dark complexion. And so, therefore, you having the darkness effect does not actually hinder you in any way. Because I didn't realize they were calling them POCs now, so I'm like, proof of concept are somebody building like software systems or something? What's going on? But alas, it means something boring like people of color. Which I could have sworn at some point, like in the 90s.
Wasn't that considered offensive?
Yeah, I was about to say, I remember like in the 90s them telling us that like saying colored or people of color was offensive.
Yeah.
Although in the UK, from my understanding, it was not offensive. They, like much how, like I remember reading a survey saying where they said Americans prefer to be called, or black Americans prefer to be called black and not African American. And I think it was the same way in Europe where they prefer to be colored and not whatever they were going to call them in the UK. I think they preferred colored versus Negro or something like that. But that would be problematic because it's acknowledging the patriarchy or something. You
I
know,
like how they are all share this helmet.
yeah, I was like, man, that must be a big helmet if they're all just gonna go down the Serpent Trench. And the sad thing is, you never get to go down this trench ever again.
Okay.
But you do get to see these delicious Mode 7 graphics. I thought that these were like QuickTime events, which now that that's all video games have, I'm glad it isn't. But
How does it work exactly?
a QuickTime event?
No, I mean, because I always thought you would just press the direction you wanted to go in.
Yeah, apparently you don't have to do anything. I could be wrong, but I remember once I was just like, I'm not going to do anything, and it just goes in the direction for me. I imagine that must have hurt.
Just crashing into the rocks.
Yeah, I thought that was silly. Yeah, see, I didn't do anything, and it just went over there. So I wonder why they even had it on here. Were they really trying to show off?
Whoa. Yeah, that's that rhinoceros creature that we stole the mithril claw from.
Oh, the Balmora.
Yeah. It was called something else.
Yeah, but I don't remember what. It's been so long now, but I actually have the game now, so I have no excuse to not look it up. Or I have the Super Nintendo version now. Well, we have it on PS1 too, but
Oh yeah, I have.
I'm not gonna play that garbage.
What was wrong with that one?
Oh, the porting job was just terrible. Like, I remember a lot of people when it came out or when they announced it, they're like, "Oh, there shouldn't be any issues with loading or anything like that because it's a Super Nintendo game."
Yeah.
No, the loading is atrocious.
I know Chrono Trigger was really bad.
Yeah, it was pretty much like that.
Huh. Oh, really? I guess I didn't notice. I don't know.
Well, the thing about it is that for in the case of those games, I think the order that it came out in Japan was Final Fantasy 4, 5, 6, and then Chrono Trigger. So they already they already had the software basically, and they just released the discs differently in or outside of Japan. But yeah, it was, since 4 was the first one and that came with Chrono Trigger. You basically see the original port job and the final port job, and they both were not good. Like, I remember getting a preemptive attack in Final Fantasy IV that didn't do anything because you still had to wait for the battle scene to load up so you could actually do something, and then by the time it actually loaded up, it didn't matter because the enemy already hit you.
I just couldn't stand with Chrono Trigger. Going into the menu seemed to take a really long time, and then right before battles, that moment of loading where you got all the characters would just stand there before drawing their weapons.
Yeah, which I think is just weird. Like, weird how the porting job was just not good at all because there really was no excuse.
Yeah, I don't understand.
I mean, they took out the Mode 7, which I can understand that while it's not technologically advanced enough for it to be a real excuse, I can understand why that the PS1 wouldn't have the the Mode 7 capabilities, but still, the fact that
Took it out. What happened? How did they get around that?
they just made it just was a plain map.
Hmm.
Like I don't remember how they did it for this because, like I said, I never went far enough in this. Well, okay, well, if you play like the overworld map and all that in this game, they didn't change that. But when you were to go in Mode 7 mode, say in Final Fantasy 4, when you get in the airship,
Yeah.
and you know how it kind of would zoom out for you, it doesn't do that.
Oh, I guess. Wow, I probably didn't pick up on it because I did finish the PS1 version of that. I think I even finished 6, but Chrono Trigger was rough.
Yeah, I didn't even bother. Well, also by the time I got it, I had just bought the Japanese version like 3 or 4 months before, so I had just beat the game.
Oh.
So I said, no point in trying to play this again. Like I tried it just out of curiosity to see, well, you know, how did they handle the putting it on the PS1, and I saw how bad it was. Like I tried to play in the future, and it was terrible. So I wasn't going to do that anymore.
Those are now referred to as G monkeys.
I'm sure there's a problematic issue there.
Probably.
I want to say, what was it, Grease Monkey?
Yeah, I think it was. Wait, isn't that like an insult against Italian people or something?
Probably. I mean, yeah, it was supposed to be like an auto mechanic joke, but let's not give them too much faith to accept that. They'll find some kind of ethnic or way to turn it into an ethnic slur.
What can we find wrong with Gil? The currency.
I don't know. I have to remember where Gil actually comes from.
Wasn't it? Didn't it start in Final Fantasy IV?
No, it was been there since the first one.
Oh, because I remember the explanation for. I don't know if it was official or not though. Four's world was from Gilbert Damsian.
Yeah, that wasn't it though, because I remember seeing it in the original Final Fantasy. In fact, it stood out to me because they used a different alphabet for it in 1 and 2, so it would have been somewhat hard to notice if it weren't for the fact that I was already curious. Going on ships, this is pretty much Romancing Saga 3 in a nutshell.
I actually never made it that far.
Well, when I played as Herod, it felt like right after the first part, I was just always having to go everywhere by ship. But that's also so then I can just warp to the map, basically.
Right. The last time I tried to play that, I tried to play on my Wii emulator, and it was lagging for some reason.
You mean on your legal Super Nintendo or Super Famicom device?
Oh, well, I do actually own a copy of the game, but I was in the process of getting at one point, I was going to be getting a translated cart of it from this guy that I found on YouTube. It was years and years ago. I don't know what happened to him. He kind of fell off the planet. But he wasn't going to charge me an arm and a leg like eBay sellers do.
So he's actually going to be a decent human being.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, like, if you look at Locke now, well, ignore that, because, yeah, let's ignore that. But you see he's at level 12.
Oh,
So yeah,
wow.
they don't average them out. I did change his to level 30. That's why the stats are all jacked up. But
Oh, so his stats did change, but his level didn't?
well, all the only thing I actually changed was the EXP, and the way that it actually works is only once you get into a battle, that's when it will reset itself. So right now it's not, it doesn't know really what to do because it's like, oh, you're level 12, but your EXP is not level 12.
Wrong music.
We'll just
Birthday suit? Is that what he's gonna be called?
and we have a Price is Right joke.
Nope, underwear.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was in Japanese. I think that was it. Because there's like a word that they like to use often to mean like bare bones or naked or something.
Uh,
Like if you play Final Fantasy V, the base class that you have is actually, that's actually what it is.
oh, it's not freelancer, it's nudist or something.
Yeah. And then in Saga Frontier T260G, like his I think like his base body, that's what they call it too. It's called like, it's like souping. That's the word, and so they call it souping body.
Interesting.
And then for just Final Fantasy V, it's just souping.
What was up with the onion kids?
I really have no idea because the word that it really is the word onion, so it's not just some weird translator thing. I don't know why they called them Onion Knights. I don't know what they were thinking there, but I know that that's what they have. And what's even weirder to me now is that they make them like extremely strong in the later Final Fantasies. Like I think in either Tactics Advance or, well, I know Tactics Advance, and I'm pretty sure the remake of Final Fantasy 3 for the DS, like they make it so that that the Onion Knight is like this really powerful warrior
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
when it was absolutely terrible in Final Fantasy 3 originally.
Yeah, I didn't get to play too much of original Final Fantasy 3 because my completely legal copy decided to turn to the Japanese language about an hour in.
Yeah, I heard totally legal copies do that. Actually, my wife has had that issue with like the Fire Emblem series where it just randomly turns into Japanese.
I've actually never played one of those.
I haven't beaten any. I came close to beating the second one,
Hey,
but
why is he ordering you around?
well, it would be problematic if we actually had a rank.
That is true.
We can't be disrespectful. We have to respect people of lower ranks. In fact, we shouldn't even have ranks. Everybody's just equal.
Except for those that are underprivileged. We have to boost them up.
It's just funny how they just put it on themselves to say, hey, let's do something for somebody that may or may not even want us to help them.
And then have the nerve to tell them that they don't even understand why they should be angry.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're just being problematic here. I prefer treasure hunter. At least I'm getting a lot of hats.
Yeah, one for every day of the week.
Well, that's just me showing my privilege. Or maybe it's not privilege because he's stealing it. And so it's okay to steal it because...
Because you really need it.
Right, because you never actually see him... You never see Locke in a house, so maybe he's homeless.
And he doesn't really have a job either.
I mean, whether or not it's his fault he doesn't have a job is irrelevant. He doesn't have one.
Yeah, he just explores caves in hopes of finding things he can sell.
And he's just part of the patriarchy because he's a faceless corporation.
Yeah, Walmart moved into town.
But, you know, since I saw that one bumper sticker that said, buy, eat, and live local, I wonder if that means then people that live in Northwest Arkansas, if they, that means they should purchase everything from Walmart, because, I mean, it's local for them.
Yeah, that's true. They should be able to.
Yeah, that's totally realistic that a guy with a knife is able to defeat...
Take down a whole suit of armor. Mechanized armor.
But that's what we play video games for, so... We don't play them for realism. I don't think people realize that. We play them for fun, although apparently video games are not supposed to be fun.
No, they should never be fun.
Like, where did they even come up with that?
Well, I think what they're saying when they say that is, first of all, I think they're misusing the word. They're just kind of saying, like, oh, this isn't fun because fun somehow implies goofy or silly or not to be taken seriously, which is stupid because if you enjoy something, you're having fun.
That's the first time I've gotten that password wrong in a long time.
I forgot what it was. Courage?
It might be.
I know it's not Rosebud.
Yeah,
because that's isn't that stolen from some kind of movie or book or something?
Yeah, Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
It was his sled.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, that's like the one that everybody always likes to do. Because I remember I had a class where we had to talk about that, and they're like, "Oh, remember Rosebud is a sled."
It should have been Failure, though.
Yeah. Or Houston, they're the same thing. I always wonder what it is that just lets him kind of just slide over. I'll never understand why they put elixirs and
Clocks.
inside. Yeah. Yep, don't worry about me, guys. Just coming in the other way.
There's the soldier that's babysitting.
Yeah, I'm sure he loves his job.
It's a really drafty bookshelf.
Yeah, we're in 12,000 BC.
I do like how it's the same exact sound effect. It's funny when you keep the clothes and she's like, what are you trying to sell down here? Or peddle your wares or something? This was removed from the Game Boy Advance version.
Yes, this was actually removed from the Japanese version of the Game Boy Advance version. It had something to do with some kidnapping or something that happened at the time,
I heard that was a rumor.
and it wouldn't be a surprise to me. But I want
Because
no,
I've heard the very same thing, and then I looked into it more, and some were saying that it was just a rumor, but I don't know. We don't want to promote violence against women.
right. This is really we probably should have just cut this part out anyway. Because not only is it violence against women, but a man has to come in and save her.
Even though she gets up and you go fight a boss that only you can only beat because she's in the party.
Right, and notwithstanding, this woman is a general, so I don't know how just a couple of guys can beat her up like that. But I mean, what do I know about military strategy here? I've never even seen an 18-year-old general anyway, so. I think I remember somebody made a custom sprite of her once. Well, not custom, they pretty much just recolored it. Like back when I started using the internet years ago,
Yeah.
there was there was some girl. Well, I don't know if she was a girl because apparently girls didn't play video games then, but
Right.
she really liked this character back in 1996 or 7, and she had a sprite that she colored, or that she recolored of her.
Was it like more in line with the original artwork or something, or?
No, like you remember how how Edgar had his kind of different color scheme in the World of Ruin?
Oh yeah.
It was more like that. And another thing is, if this is supposed to be closer to the Japanese translation, they didn't do that there. Because in the Japanese version, he's talking about curry rice and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But maybe they kept it because they didn't want to be offensive. A Japanese game talking about rice.
It's cultural appropriation
Exactly.
in
So,
this sense, anyway.
so they didn't want to be problematic here.
You shouldn't have done that.
Why? What happened?
Check your time privilege.
Oh, well. It's too late. I mean, we're already in daylight saving, so. Oh, I didn't equip you, but it's your.
Oh, okay. That's all right. As a woman, I don't get weapons.
Oh,
Because
so just
apparently her bare fists are strong enough.
yeah. I mean, earlier they were beating her down, but
Well, now she's ready because she has a man by her side.
well, that explains everything. Do I want to get some items? I can wait till somebody will accuse me of oppression because I didn't go back to town. And I mean, she has magic, so
Well, you find like iron armor in here or something, but it's kind of hidden away in the walls.
yeah, I don't remember exactly where. I used to have it down to memory, but
Yeah, I actually don't.
or
look
you know, it's right there.
Oh,
But
well, there is something in the wall area.
I just don't remember where. But I know I used to get it all the time.
Yeah, I actually kind of dislike this part because just this specific room. It always bugged me how I had to kind of like wrestle my way through the wall.
It makes you miss the days of Final Fantasy IV where
They show you. Oh, it's just
Yeah.
called Kappa.
Yeah,
Just
that's
like
actually what it was called in
because
Japan.
that's Japanese water demon or whatever.
Yeah. Or, it's a Ninja Turtle.
That too.
If yeah, if Turtles 3, if the Turtles 3 movie means anything. I actually had that VHS and I used to watch it all the time, but it wasn't good.
I have all three of them on DVD, but I've never really watched the third one because I remember when I was younger, it kind of pissed me off because I hated that they looked really bad all of a sudden and their voices were weird and just the whole thing wasn't right.
And then the whole falling in love thing and ancient Japan and why are these Japanese people speaking English?
It's because the white man came to their land and robbed them of their language.
More cultural appropriation. I wish this series, much like Dragon Quest, had a spell that repelled random battles.
Yeah, that would be nice. I do like that there's the Moogle charm, and I forgot what the other one is. There's one that's like it lowers the encounter rate, and then there's one that just no encounters altogether.
Yeah, that is the Moogle charm, but they never told me what the other one was called. So I don't know what the one that lowers it is.
I feel like the thing that takes you through the wall is like in between that walkway that we just came out of, but I'm not positive.
Oh, well, look at that. He has a technique called Grudge, so he's trying to
That was originally meant for the female characters, but then they decided it was sexist.
Well, he was exerting it on his toxic masculinity on her.
Vigor is now might.
Yep. It should just be strength, but I won't say anything.
Yeah, why? I don't understand why. Why try to make it fancy when it just sounds kind of silly? I'm wearing one earring. Does that mean I'm part of the gay community? Or is that not a thing anymore?
No, it's I guess not. Although, well, I don't know. Who knows anymore? You can never be too sure these days. Actually, what I would do with him is because I always give him the Genji glove. I would make him. I would give him the Ultima weapon and the Valiant blade. So pretty much no matter what happened, he's always going to do a lot of damage. If he takes a lot of damage, then he's going to do a lot from the Valiant blade. And if he doesn't take any damage, he's going to do a lot from the Ultima weapon.
Oh, that's a pretty good combination.
Although you can get a second Ultima weapon, and I think I've gotten it once. But I haven't gotten it too many times, because I forget who you have to steal it from.
I'm not sure. For some reason, I usually find myself equipping it on Terra.
Why, whenever, because she's always in my final party. I can't remember what I have her doing, but I usually have her doing something where she's already packing a punch.
Yeah, on my last playthrough, I feel like she turned out to be my strongest character. I think it was partially because I had the Bahamut Esper equipped on her, so she had a lot of hit points.
Yeah, that's usually what it is, because whenever I give Espers, I usually give her the best one so that by the time she gets a level up, she's already getting the bonuses.
It's like plus 50% HP or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty good bonus.
But you know, nobody likes women characters or something.
Is there another? I guess I didn't know if there was another one down there, or maybe not.
No, I thought there might have been something in that bucket, but there was not.
I think what I'm imagining is the way later on in the game. There's a room that looks like that because you go in when you sneak into Figaro Castle.
Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna say I didn't like that part, but I will say I hated it just because that, for whatever reason, I had a difficult time with that boss.
Yeah, that boss is kind of annoying. Usually when I reach it, though, I'm super strong, so it doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, at first when I played it, I wasn't leveling up because I mean I was renting it, so I never had enough time to do that. But then once I finally was able to do that, you know, then it became real easy. I could have sworn that we were going through here earlier.
Yeah, didn't we get through there?
Yeah, we did, but now it's not working.
I love when that happens.
I would have said, well, if it had a save point, that it's just that other room, but I guess I'll never know. I'm pretty sure that it was, but I don't see the save point in it.
I wonder if that's just a glitch, or...
I don't think you were supposed to go there. I think it's to another room, but... Or I think it's part in that other house.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Reminds her of somebody else, huh? They sure did do that all the time in Final Fantasy VII.
And the fact that it was completely someone else.
But thankfully, this game is not that one. Although I did remember asking myself, how did we go from this to that? Like, I remember being so disappointed with Final Fantasy VII, I just said, you know what, I'm gonna buy Final Fantasy VI now.
I like that these graphics still hold up.
Yeah, they're better than that HD crap they did for Android.
Well, I mean, like in comparison, if you look at PS1 Final Fantasy VII graphics.
Yeah, the 7
especially the out of battle.
Yeah, 7 especially looks pretty terrible. I mean, the blocky characters and...
Looks like they all came off of Popeye or something.
Yeah, it's just so awkward whenever you see them, like, try to point up, because you just see this big block just moving up. Like, that was one game I never thought had good graphics.
Yeah. I mean, in the battle, it's not bad, but...
Yeah,
then the monsters look kind of weird.
Yeah, but I think in battle, they at least handled things decently well, but... I mean, outside, it was terrible.
Didn't you say there was some kind of project where they were swapping the graphics? Making it so the in-battle graphics were the whole game? Or something?
No, what they did is they made the in-battle graphics look more like in the FMV sequences.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, on the PC version, they did a lot of mods like texture mods and all that to make the polygons look a little bit better. But they couldn't do that much with outside of battle. In battle, they did a lot of work on it, but out of battle, yeah, they couldn't do too much with that.
Back on the river.
Back in the other world, and I forgot to mention that yeah they changed the name of the boss from Tunnel Armor to Dig Armor, which was his Japanese name, but that sounds stupid.
Oh, I actually wasn't even paying attention to notice that. What was the point of a steps counter?
I have no idea. I will say steps did determine, they worked in determining random battles. As for why you would ever want to know about them, I don't know. But I do know that it's basically there's like a random number, and then you have to, every time you generate a step, if you it generates another random number, and if that number is less than, they say that if the number is less than the number you got outside of battle, then then that means you're going to get a random battle. My problem with that is, then to me that seems like it's much more likely that you'll get into a random battle in one step than than what actually happens. So I don't know if they had that right. I don't know if it was the other way around. Because I mean, the probability, the way they were explaining it, they made it sound like the probability of getting into a random battle is like nearly 200. For 200 out of 255 or 256, which there's no way that can be, that probability works, because then in that case you really would be getting into a random battle. It would be very likely after every step you'd get into a random battle.
Oh, that would be the best game ever.
So I think it's if it's over that, because it seems.
Man. This part on Android is impossible.
I'm glad to see they didn't bother thinking about how that would work on a phone.
Yeah, I got up to that part and I was done.
That's when it was over for you?
Yeah, because it's just so, it's too sensitive. I can't stop myself from overstepping. And that, I could try to do that, but that didn't work well either.
Ah, 2 for 3.
Oh, whoops.
So what would you have had to do? Did you have to? Well, you just had to use their built-in controls or whatever, right?
Yeah, I actually have. I haven't used it yet, but I picked up a controller that works with tablets and cell phones and stuff. So I'm gonna try to use that and see if I can get it to work and make the game more playable. I just can't do touchscreen like that.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who like to use emulators on their phone, and I just can't do it. I mean, I already have enough issues trying to do it like on a hacked Xbox. Because the D-pad.
I gotta find a place to hook up my Xbox because I have so many games on there.
Yeah, I hope, or you said you hadn't used it much, but I hope you at least get your money's worth out of it.
Yeah, right now that's not happening. It would be nice if I had a way to record stuff off of it too.
Now there might be a way.
I'm sure there is. I don't know much about it. Capture cards or something.
Maybe. I know you can. You could FTP. Well, you can FTP into it. So.
Yeah, I don't think I know what I'm doing, unfortunately. The Rune Blade. I don't really care too much for that weapon.
I forgot what it does.
It uses your magic points to do a more powerful attack. So, I mean, it tends to drain them.
But if they don't have magic... I don't know. I don't remember what happens if you don't have magic.
I'm not sure if you can equip it if you don't. But then again, I don't know. So maybe it's just a weapon for Terra, or is it Celis? Is that how you're supposed to say her name?
It's Celise.
For some reason, I always found myself saying Celes. Which, I know it doesn't look right, but I don't know. It's just what I went to.
Yeah, it does. Well, it does look kind of Greek, so that would be like a Greek-sounding pronunciation.
Yeah, that's true. Hermes, Celes, it works.
I always thought it was really depressing what happens to this town. Because there's no explanation at all.
Oh, yeah. Everybody just kind of disappears.
Yeah, and then it plays like this creepy music and... there are monsters there, they've taken over it, and... I don't really know if a town can be neutral.
Oh. I didn't even realize his name was different.
Yeah, it's what is in the Japanese version. I always wondered what Bannon was doing here. Like, was
He's
he
just kind of like glaring at her.
It's like, do you really have to look that hard at me? Like, I'm right here.
Like this, it's the male gaze.
Yeah, there you go. Now we know. If only I could get a screenshot of it.
Oh, speaking of screenshots, when I was playing Xenoverse earlier, I saw that somebody made Ken from Street Fighter, and I got a screenshot of that. My character's like pointing at him with the fusion pose.
And then you would have your first transgender's Xenoverse character.
Non-binary or something.
Yeah, I don't know if she would have personal pronouns. I don't know what the appropriate pronouns would be.
It's Genju, Genji, and Genself or something.
Like, so basically nothing.
Pretty much.
Like, that just sounds like that's just such a high school thing to do. Like, that's something that you think you should do when you're like 15 or 16 and you don't really fit in and you need to try to find a way to make yourself stand out.
That so really seems like a lot of what the identity politics is. People wanting to stand out and be something more special than what they are.
But the problem is they're not all 16. They're like 21 and unemployed. Or if they're not unemployed, they work as like a barista at Starbucks.
Well, only until the Great American Novel takes off.
Right.
Or somebody on Patreon starts paying them to do nothing.
Right, which seems more likely at this point. Because after all, they are burning books now.
Oh, you saw that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. I know I just said something like that in a video not too long ago.
And now we're going to have abuse. He's going to abuse a woman. But of
Oh,
course,
yeah.
the man has to come to her defense.
Locke's class just changed from Treasure Hunter to White Knight.
You know, if they ever did a sequel, I really hope they don't do that. Unlike what they did with Kane, where they did do something like that.
Oh, Holy Dragoon or something.
Mm-hmm. And I like that, unlike Cecil, his whole thing was just like he just has to accept his darkness. Whereas Cecil had to overcome his.
Yeah, that was interesting. What I thought was interesting, how it I don't know, it seemed a little strange to me. Even though it was Final Fantasy, and it's completely fantasy, within the rules of the world, it seemed odd to me that he suddenly had a clone.
Right, like how did he manage to break out of that? I thought
I
well, first of all, I thought it was Kluya who was pretty much in control of that whole altar there, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh well, it's a clone and it can break through.
Yeah, that was weird, because when they did that with Cecil, I never saw it as an actual separate person. It seemed to me more like a spiritual thing.
Yeah, and then somehow it's like, oh, doppelganger time. I mean, I like that story up until the ending, where it was, I feel like they just really rushed through it. Because they're like, oh crap, we don't want people to have to pay for another chapter because then they'll be upset.
Yeah, I kind of wish they would have fleshed out the ending a little bit better.
But yeah, then I have to realize that originally it was a cell phone game where they had to pay per chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's how they did on the Wii, so then I say, oh well, yeah, that's kind of why they made it episodic like that. But it should have just been a game, like a normal game from the start.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if they were going to do a sequel to something that popular.
But they've avoided this one, which is probably for the better.
Yeah, well, I guess really, what could they do with it? I mean, they could do they could do a War of the Magi prequel.
Yeah, I actually would like to see some of that. Instead of.
But then again, what kind of ending would it have? It'd be a real downer.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think there. Oh, well, they do that all the time with like the Star Wars games. They'll always have like these. Oh, we're extending the Clone Wars, and you're gonna have a game, and so I figure, well, if they're gonna do that, because they already know what's gonna happen. So
Yeah, I guess it's less about the ending and more about the journey getting there.
But I want to say there's another game where, oh, well, the Lufia series is like that. It's like, okay, you already know what's going to happen. But they do it anyway. I don't think I've ever done it this way, so I figure he can take care of them all by himself.
Probably.
But the women, of course, have to...
They need to be paired up.
Although they don't really have to be either, because they have magic. There goes that laugh. See, I used to think that whenever these guys came in, like, they came in with the music. So like when the music did that doo-loo-loo, they would come in.
Oh yeah.
Uh, why did I do that?
That's a good defense.
I think even when I wasn't over leveled, I did it that way. That's controller 2. I think. Can you do anything?
Yeah. Sorry, I got sidetracked for a second. Stone is good though.
I remember I did that on Ultros in the Opera House, and it did like 4,000 damage.
Yeah, it has really high damage sometimes.
I've only got that to happen twice ever.
I forgot. What did I just do? This guy? Zag? I think that's what I did. Yep, Stone Toe. Yeah, that's a good choice. For these big groups, especially. And then he confuses himself, and... yeah. I'm usually not, like, over-leveled at this part, so what I usually do is... I end up having, I think it's Gao and Cyan in a party, and then Locke and Sealy's, and then... or maybe it's a Locke, Sealy's, and Edgar. I don't know. I'm still mispronouncing her name.
Yeah, there'll be somebody in the eventual comment section saying that you mispronounced it.
Oh well.
And that you're not a true fan.
Technically, that makes me not a true Final Fantasy IV fan either, because I say Cecil.
Yeah, I'm not even going to count the DS with any, give it any sort of validity.
Oh.
I do like how in this like in when these battles starts, Celeste gets like all shocked, and then eventually I think she'll start shaking her finger when she gets, I don't remember when it changes, but at some point she gets more confidence and
oh, she naturally learned fire too.
yeah. Yes, I like how this is supposed to be a Japanese retranslation, and they're using Fire 2 instead of Fyra.
Yeah, Fyra.
Don't think you win?
Well, it's a literal translation.
Ah, okay. That's a good excuse. I feel like I should have a Legends of localization on this.
Probably. That would be interesting, I think.
I want to say I thought he already did a bunch of work on it, but maybe he didn't do anything on it. I think he did do like a playthrough of it, but I don't remember if it was like a translation LP or something.
Oh, I know he did a playthrough of that T edition or whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't even get to watch all that because there's just so much.
Yeah, and then some of the music is I already know, so hearing it for the music is not really worth my time.
I like that in that hack they made the option for characters to have multiple outfits. It's kind of like a silly little thing, but it seems pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a nice little feature. Because I know somebody who liked the Opera House Solis, and I'm sure somebody out there likes the Esper Terra. This is very sexualized.
Is it just me, or did her sound
Yeah,
change?
her scream did change.
I like how Gao's just hanging on by one hand.
Like, yep, just hanging around.
Why do I feel like that was a joke in the Dragon Ball Z dub somewhere?
Yeah, I think it was. I just don't remember what it was. Oh no, not in the dub. I think they did it in abridged, but I don't have time for that.
Bridged is okay. It's just more. It's just the fan bases surrounding those things that kind of bug me more than anything else.
Yeah, and then they have to throw it in every single thing.
Everything, yeah. And then you can like never watch the series again without it being referenced, even though it's not the original content.
Right. Like the whole uh, being a Yoshi and the anything Nappa.
The only Nappa thing that I thought was funny was the ghost Nappa thing with where they covered the song.
Mm-hmm. What I thought was funny is when is that one time when Vegeta's just like just having an aneurysm out of sheer stupidity, and Nappa's like, "Oh, I didn't know you're that stupid, Vegeta."
Oh yeah. And the Disney training montage cover there with Mr. Popo's face on the moon.
Mm-hmm. And the only reason I think the Vegeta thing ever, or like when he keeps saying Vegeta, 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 for some reason the reason that stood out to me was, I don't know, I guess one of my kids just kept saying the same thing over and over, and the way they said it always reminded me of that, and so every time they would just keep saying the same thing over and over, I would just keep saying Vegeta, Vegeta, Vegeta. But I don't think any of them care much for Vegeta. My daughter likes Piccolo.
That's a good choice.
And I like that they added some profanity there, though. I don't think that the Japanese version actually had any language in it.
In this?
Yeah. Or when you talk to that guy and he's like, we're neutral, we don't want any war, but that empire just won't leave us alone. I don't think they actually say. I don't think he actually he swears in the Japanese one.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I know why they did it.
I guess he can have the rune blade.
Yeah.
I think what it is it just doesn't do its critical attack because it has nothing to draw from.
And I'm alright with that.
Yeah, it's not like it's super impressive anyway.
Metal Fist. I suppose there's a metal joke in there somewhere. Since that's the only type of music, apparently. The only genre that exists.
Apparently the only good one.
Well, that's that's why that sign said metal only. and whatever else he was doing. Opining about his love of Alabama.
Oh jeez. And telling girls on the internet he was a guitarist in a band.
Oh, I'm afraid to ask if they went along with that,
Oh, the band themselves?
or know that. Well,
Or
yeah, them and the girls. If the girls are like, "Oh, really?"
no, I don't know if you remember this, but it was this girl from Pennsylvania and one night I don't even know why she had my screen name. I think because at one point we were all in an AIM chat room and so one night she just messaged me by myself alone out of nowhere. And she was like, "So if Tim comes down here, I'm going to see him play at the show, right?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Cuz I had no idea this was a lie. And then she's like, "Well, Tim, he plays guitar in that band, right?" And I was just like, "Oh man, really, Tim? There's no way that I'm lying about this." And I'm just like, "No, I don't know what you're talking about." I was like, he just hangs out with them and helps them with their gear. And she's like, "So he's like a roadie?" And I was like, "I guess."
Uh, uh, Probably a slightly lonelier version.
Because he gets paid with McDonald's farts or something like that.
Oh, I remember that one, and he was getting so nostalgic about that.
Oh, the tattoo. That's what it was.
Like, what makes you? Why are you nostalgic about that? I mean, I understand that there are just some things that people get nostalgic about that are really weird, but I don't think eating McDonald's and somebody farting up a van is really a memory I really want to
Yeah, it doesn't seem like
relive.
something you'd want to miss. The tattoo was the worst part ever. I almost actually forgot that he got that. That was bad.
Man, there are countless people that have done the whole I'm in a band thing when I was in high school, and I think my friends are still in one. Like, they keep going in and out of bands, and it's always terrible because it always feels like it's just a ploy.
Yeah, well, the stupid thing is that why would you lie about that? Just, I mean, I get why he did it, to look cool and be impressive, but what's going to happen when you actually go and what's supposed to happen doesn't happen? It's like, oh, I got sick that day, they had to fill in.
Yeah, it's like well, and even if you were, it's always terrible because I mean, I used to. People always joke about like when you walk on the college campus and there's always some douche in like a hemp, like in sandals made out of hemp, and long hair and like some cargo pants, sitting outside on the quad playing the guitar. But
Oh my god, that, you know what? I gotta say, as ridiculous as like Family Guy gets sometimes, that's one joke that they actually got right.
but the funny thing for me is like that wasn't really college. Well, I actually did go back to. I went back to one of them last year, and I actually did see people doing that then, but they weren't doing it when I was there. But for me, that was high school all the way. Like, we had something that was called an outdoor classroom, and it would just be full of people just sitting there playing the guitar and like singing horribly these songs that I don't know anything about, or singing the Beatles, which I hate.
Oh man.
Sorry for any of you who like that. I don't at all.
Yeah, I'm not a fan either. I'll admit it. Bring on the nasty comments, doesn't matter.
The thumbs down, and yeah, he didn't say that either, but you
Yeah.
know, faithful translation and all that.
Damn you all.
That is more abuse on women.
I
So
always wondered what he meant by that exactly, though.
yeah, they didn't really talk about that, and we're not. It doesn't look like we're gonna get more depth from this translation.
They meant to turn this into a suicide scene, but it would be triggering.
Right. So don't play any further into the game because there is a trigger warning there. However, in this case, we're gonna let Two-Face here make his moral decision, as he always does with a coin flip.
Did you see that Paperboy article earlier?
No, I might have missed it in everything I was doing today, but I didn't know there was a Paperboy article.
Oh yeah, it was that link from that article written by that Liz girl.
Oh yeah, I tried to read that, but I was trying to finish up Brain Lord in time, so I didn't get to see it.
Yeah, I mean it's not that it's not horribly written or anything like that. I mean, there's no Kotaku spelling errors and whatnot. But to me, the thing I find funny about it is that it's basically the same kind of topics that would be made fun of if it was written by somebody else. Because it's one of those things where it's like it's reaching for meaning where there is none.
Yeah, I think I've seen like some other stuff they were talking about or she wrote before, and that's the feeling I got. So that's why I was getting confused by like why people were really trying to come to her honor. Because to me it was like, well, she's doing the same thing people you don't like are doing. So
Yeah, and there's been a couple of discussions on that I've
but
seen around where people were like, well, I may have incited it anonymously, but um, yeah, basically it was like, why are you praising this when it's like it's more of the same? And they're like, well, if you know, there's a point here. If this was coming from people we didn't like, we'd probably be dumping all over it, but we're supporting it just because it's from someone we have points that we agree with on. So basically, it's the same thing that they're trying to call out, which is kind of stupid.
right, which I was just waiting for that moment for everything to kind of implode and really just end up no better than where it was at before. Because I don't know, I don't think we that they should be playing favorites like that.
There's a bunch more drama that I just like. I don't know anything about this, but apparently, some more drama is going down within that hashtag or whatever.
Which hashtag?
The Gamergate.
There are just so many of them that are.
Yeah, trending or whatever you want to call it. I just can't. I can't take it seriously because I don't know. They say that they're not organized, but yet they sure do argue amongst each other enough as if they should be all saying the same thing.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're trying to have like leaders or something, but
Supposedly not, but there are obviously voices that are listened to more than others.
well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like I know they said that they're not trying to have that, but I don't know if in practice that's what's happening.
Yeah, I don't think it's working because I could probably name like 5 to 10 people that would be considered louder voices in the whole situation.
Yeah, because Mundane Matt is certainly a person that they rely on often, and
Yeah, a lot of people dump on him too, though, because they said he's too like. They'll say he's too wishy-washy or something, or like you're too nice about it. I guess they sometimes there are a lot of people that want, I don't know, more aggression, but it doesn't really help anything. So I kind of agree with the stance of not attacking people needlessly.
yeah, because it doesn't really help matters. Because then they'll just say, "Well, see, look, they're all like this," and
Yep. That basically, once they completely close off the line of communication, then you're never going to get anywhere because you're just going to be listening to people that agree with you in the first place.
Right. But I mean, it was only a matter of time until it just becomes just two extremes, and because I like how one side just says, "Well, if you're not for us, then you're for them.
Yeah.
If you're in the middle, then you're not in the middle. You're actually on their side," which is funny because in one of those videos they were talking about, well, we're trying to appeal to people who are kind of in the middle. They're on the fence. They really don't know or anything. We're trying to reach out to them. Well, you can't reach out to people who are, and they say, well, we kind of given up on the Gamergate people, so we don't try to reach out to them. But you just said that there can only be two sides, and so if they're not on your side, then they must be on their side, and you just said you can't reach out to them.
Yeah, I don't know if you've heard anything about this. That website, Ralph Retort.
I've heard of the person, but I didn't know they had a website till like yesterday.
Yeah, he writes all the. I guess basically what they are saying about him is he's basically like Gamergate's Gawker.
Well, that's quite an insult.
Because he called out the way he wrote an article, the title, he basically outed a trans person.
Like that Kate something.
Yeah, I guess you saw it.
And then everybody's argument was, well, it's on Wikipedia, so you can't really out something.
Right. Well, I guess supposedly there was a lot of harassment from this person that I guess started the whole situation. The thing that bugs me is that when it comes to like, say trans or gay or minority types or whatever, they always say it always acts like you can't say anything bad about them, even though there are certain people that fall into those categories that act like total jerks.
Yeah, I think the Chloe Segal issue from a few years back was the first time I think I saw somebody saying, we could have addressed this, but nobody will because they're an en vogue minority, and therefore you can't say anything bad about them.
That's a little ridiculous.
The only benefit, I believe, of having Shadow in your party is you can see one of his streams.
Oh yeah, that might be.
But I don't know if I'll be able to get them all anyway.
Well, you can always see it later on.
Yeah, plus he still has that 1 in 16 chance of leaving. And I will say when I play around in this area, he's more likely to leave in a battle every time I play.
Yeah. I think he also leaves when you reach Zozo anyway.
Yeah, and
so it's pointless, really.
It's just if you really like Shadow, and there are people out there that really do.
I do really like him, but I feel like at this is the one time where I won't go out of my way to get him because he leaves right away. Although there was maybe once or twice where I actually did do that, and then I went back and grabbed a fill-in party member after he left, so I made things more difficult on myself.
Yeah, I did the same, but no point in doing that now. This is just a house. This guy is only saying what is reality, because people sure don't seem to like peace as much as they claim to. It's not really that hard to ride a chocobo, but sure. This is an interesting song for the kind of the theme or the spirit of this game.
Yeah. I thought this was an interesting take on the Chocobo theme.
But hey, Mode 7 graphics, who can complain about that? I have actually gone all the way down here without a Chocobo, but boy, do I hate doing it. For the zero of you that were curious, that's Jidor, and I was actually going to say something about that because I was playing. What was I playing? Children of Mana, and they were in an island called Alucia. And so, like, back in the mid to late 90s, before RPG Gamer, RP Gamer, whatever you want to call it, became what it is today, it was called the unofficial Squaresoft page, and it was actually apparently hosted on the Squaresoft web servers. And so if there were people out there that wanted to have, like, websites devoted to a game or something like that, there was this trend that we had of making, like, towns. So it started with this one guy who made a town called Alucia, and he would create his own sprites, and he would have, like, I mean, this is really dating myself, but he had something called an HTML image map, and if nobody knows what that is, I don't blame you, but basically you could, using HTML, you could take an image and you could make parts of that image a link that you could click on, and it would go to one place on one part, and then it would go to another on another. Nowadays, there's really no need to do that because you can use CSS for that kind of stuff. But back in the day, that's all we had. So that would be what they would do. They would make these maps, and then I think he even animated his so that when you, like, clicked on a certain area of the map, it had a different animation or something, or it had a different frame of the character. So
I feel like I've seen something like that before.
And the sprites he had in particular, I think, were just Final Fantasy VI sprites, and so there were all sorts of different towns. I don't remember the other ones. I just remember his and mine. And mine was actually called Lador, but it was based off of Jidor from this game. But like I said, there are others, and so they all try to talk about different things. I think he liked to talk about, like, the Japanese versions of the games, and later on, around 96, 97, he started talking about Final Fantasy VII as well. So he actually changed the design of the town up, because I guess his favorite character was Moog. So you could, not only did you have an image map, but you could also, eventually he had it to where, I think he had a Java applet or something, where you could control a sprite, which was Moog, because that's who he liked. But and then you could go to, like, different parts of the town and try to talk to the characters, and you could get more information. And so when Final Fantasy VII came out, he had, like, a section where it was more futuristic, and you could ask certain questions, but he never got to finish it. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that I named a town. It was reminiscent of a town from Jidor in this game. But yeah, the Final Fantasy or Squaresoft towns, they were really interesting. I remember he also mentioned, like, after he kind of took that site down, he ended up having, like, another game site, but it was never as prominent as that one, and it didn't last long. But he was talking about Xenogears, and I think he was talking about a character that was named, like, Zephyros or something like that, and he kept trying to let everybody know that, like, hey, this isn't Sephiroth or anything like that. But I played Xenogears, and I don't know anybody by that name, so maybe it's in the Japanese version, or maybe he was just making something up. But
yeah.
But it was just annoying, because back in those days, like, when Ian Kelly and all those guys were handling a lot of the Japanese, or like the Japanese translations or explanations of games. Like Ian Kelly liked to do Dragon Quest games a lot,
Mhm.
so he was like one of the original FAQ or walkthrough writers way back when GameFAQs was not just a place where people would talk about pedophilia and
Hold stupid polls.
right, and uh, like every like the way they would do things is they always, or they basically like to use Romaji a lot, so they like to do like lazy romanization. So rather than just translating things, they just used the romanization of the Japanese word and called it that. So it got really annoying when you would play like Dragon Quest V and he would say like, "Oh, don't forget the Chisana medal," instead of just saying tiny metal or whatever.
Oh god.
And the thing is that the guy that did the Alucia, he would do the same thing with Final Fantasy. So a lot of times it would be a pain because you have to figure out what they're really trying to talk about, because they don't want to just translate it, they want to just use the romanization, and it's like, come on now, at least try.
Yeah.
But I guess only like I said, they didn't last long. I want to say around 98 they went away.
It's kind of like the Kanzenshu forums. They have they have something built in so that if you try to use dub names, it'll automatically change it for you when you post.
I feel like what they did is depending on what forum software they use, there's like a filter for profanity,
Yeah.
and then you can set like what you want to change it to, and I feel like that's what they did. They
I
used.
think you're right. But that, I mean, I get that they are like a purist site, and the reason they do that is because they say that their forum community is global, so the original names are what's most known worldwide, aside from, like the US dub changing Mr. South into Hercule.
Yeah,
So I can kind of see it, but then at the same time, it just seems kind of douchey.
yeah, but from what you tell me, that's what that website feels like almost all the time.
Yeah, I don't do much. I haven't done much posting on there in a long time because, well, I don't know. I like it, but then in other regards, it seems really snooty.
And then that one guy that you had to argue with for something.
Oh, about Mr. Popo?
Yeah.
Dogasu or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't like that guy one bit.
And then don't they make a big deal like you can't talk about emulation or whatever?
Oh, just no pirated talking, like no, I downloaded this album, what do you guys think of the tracks, kind of thing.
Didn't they used to have it where you could download albums?
They did have downloads at one point. I want to say it was limited mostly to things that you couldn't really buy. But I'm not sure. But yeah, it's kind of does kind of suck in some regard.
Because I know GameFAQs does that. Like they'll mod you for talking about emulators, but they're not even consistent about it.
Oh, we still need the chainsaw.
Yeah, I guess it's in. I don't remember where it is.
I think it's a different building altogether.
Yeah, it's in one of the buildings I passed up, but I can just.
Yeah, it's really short, so.
Because I was about to say, didn't I forget to change the clock on something?
I think it's 6:10:50.
gentle folks. Thanks for letting us pass peacefully.
He looks anything but gentle. It's a very interesting looking sprite.
And it's a very dead sprite.
Yeah, it's another one of those guys that never really understood the point of.
Other than just to say, hey, we need you to fight a boss before you get here.
Yeah.
Speaking of Greek, more sexualization.
Yep.
And once again, more men coming to the rescue.
How odd. Alternatively, it could have been Tina. Tina? How American.
Yeah, but then that might be cultural appropriation.
It's okay because America has no culture.
Oh, well. I like that America's just a place to take all these pot shots at.
Mostly by all the people that live there.
Right.
And enjoy all the privileges that come with it.
Right, although whenever I go to GameFAQs, there's no shortage of people in the threads saying, oh, those stupid Americans complaining about this.
Words that have been ruined for me forever. Privilege, oppression, problematic.
Toxic.
Yeah, toxic.
I'll say feminism is ruined for me.
Yeah.
Both as a word and as a concept.
Yeah, but remember, we're not even allowed to say we want to ban that word. Time Magazine had to apologize.
Oh, well.
Just for having it on the list.
Misogyny is another thing I don't like. And as well as internalize now.
Oh god, that's terrible.
Strawman and ad hominem.
Yeah, any of the fallacies, I can't listen to that anymore. Because I'm not going to take it seriously from a bunch of people on the internet that think they're debate experts.
Well, you know, a lot of the figureheads or the voices have degrees in communication, so clearly they should know how to communicate. And if by communicate you mean just ignore the voice of dissent and try to dismiss it as, I don't know, whatever they say, hateful propaganda or whatever they say.
Yeah, anything. Who knows? Well, I suppose after we finish this up and grab the chainsaw, we could probably wrap it up.
Yeah, I was just debating whether I wanted to finish the Opera House or not. It doesn't really matter. I consider this to be the real milestone anyway, because the Opera House is pretty short to me.
Yeah.
Plus, you know, there's only just so much misogyny and sexism we can have in one video, and Locke's whole reaction to.
Oh yeah.
I don't think that we're really ready to. There are too many trigger warnings there.
Next time we'll have to put trigger warning in the title of the video.
Trigger warning. I'm waiting for somebody to be triggered by the idea of dying.
I'm sure it's out there somewhere.
There,
Deathphobic.
yeah, or thanatophobia.
Isn't that like the fear of everything?
Well, thanatos means death, so
Oh, okay. I thought there was a similar word that was supposed to be the fear of everything.
there is, but I don't remember the Greek word for everything, so that'll have to wait for a time when I can look into my Greek dictionary. Which I'm not being sarcastic. I actually do have a very large Greek to English library or book dictionary. Why do I have it? Well, guys, we'll have to find out next time.
On Dragon Ball Z. Oh, wait.
I actually used to do that all the time. I used to just use that guy's voice for everything.
Makes rather mundane aspects of life exciting.
I haven't had a dream where that happened. But like everybody in the dream, they were yeah, I don't want you guys. They were the characters that don't get a lot of use in Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, unfortunately. That happens
But
to many.
but I had a dream that they were fighting instead of like Goku and all of them. So, but then I was getting ready to wake up, and that's when the announcer came on. He's like, "Is this the end of everybody? Stay tuned for the next episode of Dragon Ball Z." And then I woke up.
No, turn it back.
Like, really, did it really just go on cue from when I was about to wake up? Surge beat sounds so silly.
Yeah, it does.
That's not even what it's called.
Sounds like a dance.
Yeah, that's not even what it's called in the Japanese version. I mean, I know I'm sounding like a snob by saying that, but I mean, they claim that this was supposed
A
to
retranslation, yeah.
right, and that's not even what it's called. It's called Exploding Fist.
Exploding
But-
Fist sounds good.
But Meteor Drive is right. And I'm sure that the reason I didn't have Exploding Fist is because it wouldn't fit. But they could have done like Blast Fist or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or Burst Fist. Anything but Surge Beat. That sounds like the name of a song from Streets of Rage.
Yeah, I could see that.
Which is a game that we can't play because there is violence against women. So, is nobody going to say anything about this? This is sexualized. This man is in underwear.
I think that gets a free pass
Oh, okay.
because it's a man.
Right, it doesn't count for men.
Oh, I could do that? That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow. That woman had a lot of power.
I guess it doesn't count, though.
Because she was just called a dancer.
Right.
Doesn't even have a name. That's how insignificant she is.
Right, just treats women as semen dispensers or whatever. Whatever he said.
Oh, God.
Or they're just something that you spew semen at, I believe is what he said.
Yeah, that's what he said. was a very progressive comment.
Oh, that was so irritating. I'm sure it's going to be like that other comment I saw where somebody says something and it doesn't really make sense, and instead of just acknowledging it, it's just easier to just ignore it and talk about somebody else. Like, oh, I totally agree with what that other person said. I won't acknowledge what you said. Which more or less is what actually happened. I don't think he ever responded to like other people saying I don't think it's quite what you're saying.
Oh, he did get some negative response to that?
Uh mm, Not totally negative, but some people just saying it's kind of commonplace to me. I've seen it so many times that I don't see why it's such an atrocity. But none of those ever got responses.
Because if you don't see that, you're not being progressive enough. You're ignoring it. It's a microaggression, or whatever the hell that means.
Like, are you guys just making up terms every minute?
I think so.
Like, the only time I want to hear about aggression is if it has something to do with Joseph Stalin in the 1940s. If it has to do with words, it's not aggression. But I guess that doesn't count.
Well, apparently words are now like weapons of mass destruction.
Well,
Words cause terrorism.
here I thought violent acts caused terrorism.
You just haven't spent enough time on Twitter lately.
Funny thing is, I actually do, but I guess since I don't have an account, I don't have to listen to the white noise that I would have had to when I had a Twitter account. So I can just go to the people that I actually want to read from, and I don't have to worry about everybody else. It's a win-win.
All right. Well, we made it.
So next we'll probably take on the Empire for a little bit. I don't think we'll be able to get through that completely, but we'll at least get to probably to the point where we get the blackjack.
Oh yeah. The Empire will strike back. I think it was a different movie though.
Yeah, and we might not. We probably can't make references, or George Lucas will sue us. But I'd rather
Disney.
have. Yeah, they love to protect their intellectual property. So.
Alrighty.
So join us next time if we aren't in court. And everybody have a good one, and we'll see you later.
Take it easy.